Hello, my beautiful soul family, and welcome you all to my channel, The Mystical Hummingbird. I hope you're having a good day today. I'm having a wonderful day. There are so many things happening right now in the world, both positive and negative. Changes are happening that are affecting also both positive and negative. And there's growth, there's also stagnancy. But from my observations and what I observe is that no matter what is happening, there's movement. And I see intention from both sides, from both what's the word, levels, the different levels that we are in, the light and the darkness. I have some thoughts that I have written here, and I would like to share them with you. An intention of the heart. Human beings are psychosomatic and spiritual in union. That is to say, constituted of body, mind, and spirit. These three key elements were ultimately intended for us to work in unison, thus a perfect human being. We have not as of yet acquired the mastering of the self as a whole. However, we have one of the greatest tools to achieve the intention of our hearts, and that is intention itself. What is intention of the heart, you may ask? First thought that comes to mind is this: a deep desire, an intention of something, and a deliberate thought, a thought destined for a particular purpose, an aim to conclude in a heartfelt determination of intending, thus achieving a goal, whatever it may be. In my eyes, an intention derives from the heart. Therefore, it is an intention of the heart, a desire born from deep within you, wanting to take flight into the realms of our existence. Now, these notes that I have, they are from my book. They're small excerpts from my book that I've written some years ago. This very book, for example, my intention to bring to life that which lies within my innermost, deepest thoughts. It is the deep and clear desire within me to manifest into words that which lies beneath the surface, all that is relevant to being created in tension. In other words, being in attention of my inner intentions to create from the power of action which emanates from my spirit self. My own spiritual journey of transformation has led me to believe that we are all undergoing an intentional inner transformation of the soul. Some of us have gone through great tragedies, accidents, illnesses, death of loved ones, painful divorces, addictions, the loss of dear friends, and many, many other things. Thus experienced the dark night of the soul, where we all have come to question our own humanity and sense of sanity. In every moment of our lives, we experience the intensity of intention. The deep sorrow that kept us in a state of numbness and stupor for years, whatever the reason. Then one bright morning we decide with power of intention from our hearts to no longer mourn. You feel elated, as if you were renewed in mind, body, and spirit. Yes, you were. This is the power of intentions. It moves you to be above the ordinary and makes you extraordinary. I absolutely love the power of intention from the heart and words of Paramahansa Yogananda. Do little things in an extraordinary ways. Be the best one in your line. You must not let your life run in the ordinary way. Do something that nobody else has done, something that will dazzle the world. Show that God's creative principle works in you. Never mind the past. Though your errors be as deep as the ocean, the soul itself cannot be swallowed up by them. Have the unflinching determination to move on your path unhampered by limiting thoughts of past errors. How beautiful. The powerful intention to succeed is marked regardless of our past in these heart-intended words. Paramahansa Yogananda was an Indian and American Hindu monk, a yogi, a guru, I guess you could call him, and he founded an organization called the Self-Realization Fellowship. It was to help people to find themselves. I actually visited that place in California when I was there for a bit. I'm trying to think of the city. It was in Los Angeles. It was in San Francisco. No, San Diego. It was in San Diego, yes. It was a very beautiful place. I am learning that it all lies beneath the power of our heartfelt intentions, behind our desires, that which moves us to succeed in our endeavors. How much do we love the desire? How devoted are we to its inspirational voice? Do we give it life, or do we place it in the closet rack to not look at again for another year? As I mentioned earlier, or on the little bonsai tree, the intention of its master is to create by giving the tree a certain shape, a form only seen in the horticulturist's mind. He alone knows where to cut, where to prune, for his intention comes from the heart. This is done so meticulous, with such care, truly the work of a master's hand, for the intention given here is always evolving. This tree is a work of a lifetime, as our lives are ever evolving, the work of our life's time. The waves in the ocean, the rivers and streams are moving, the clouds are fading because the wind moves them. Birds are always in flight. The sun comes up in the morning and goes down at night to appear again in another hemisphere. Then the moon brightens our night, and so the moment evolves into another and another. Yet it is the same moment. The moment of an intention created by a human mind or created by nature. Life is the intention of our great Creator. Thus, we are. The intention He created us for is for us to find intention in our purpose, to have a purpose. In other words, to propel ourselves into our lives imbued with all the intention we can muster to live a purposeful life. Through the intentions from our hearts, the universe conspires to give us that which we most desire by achieving mastery of ourselves. You see, an intention is an opportunity, a strategy, a tool for us to use and for us to gain mastery of ourselves through the practice of our intentions. To master ourselves is the key into knowing ourselves and an attribute worthy of our natures. Intention has many lessons for us. To truly intend something into being from the heart places us close to our divinity, and in turn allowing us to do a service whether to our own selves or mankind. Either way, we service by devoting the intention into being. The countless diets we women put ourselves through, until one day, out of the blue, we commit ourselves to our intention to no longer have those extra pounds. And voila, we achieve that which has taken others a lifetime, and some never achieve. It was the power, the devotion, the love behind the intention that brought it to life. Do you remember the day when you decided to become a mother and you took such care of your body, at nourishing it, nourishing foods, ate nourishing foods, exercised, bought pretty clothes, took supplements, vitamins? You gave life to your intention by loving the thought from whence your intention derived from. And when you held your precious baby in your arms, your intention to love it came from deep within your heart. That it moved you to the deepest core of your soul. You choose a partner and you intend to devote your love and affections to this human being because it derives from deep within your heart. Just the sound of their voice touches you, and all you want to do is to love them, nurture and care for their needs, and at times placing their needs before your very own with a happy face. How many of us love intentionally and unconditionally? Intention guides us to the goddess of creativity. When we let go of preconceived ideas, we can experience high states of consciousness where the delight of the sublime enters, and the creations we bring to life are amazing. By embracing the innocence and mystery of our intentions, we bring a sense of wonderment about all that surrounds us. We tap into our inner energies, and the possibilities are endless. Some years ago, while still in the eye of the storm, I felt and was exhausted physically, emotionally, and spiritually, almost drained of all my good energies, clouded by my negative thinking patterns due to my ignorance and my unconscious state. Yet deep within me, a spark of light began to burn and intention was born. I embraced and welcomed her in. I came to realize that all I had been living in was fear. Fear of failing, fear of loneliness, fear of living, fear of not being good enough, fear of not being accepted, fear of not being beautiful enough. When I first acknowledged this in me, I was able to work myself through it. First by accepting the fact of my condition, and then releasing all of my fears to the higher source within me, my inner guide, my God. I found the intentions to live again, but this time I was making the rules, creating my roadmap of where the intention of my heart was taking me. And this was to a far, far away place, yet was right within me all the time. Have not regretted a single moment, for in the deepest despair, I found an opportunity for intention to touch my soul, to bring out of the insanity I was living, to project back into my life the God-given energy I deserved and hungered for. Once we meet ourselves halfway and taste that what we are made of, follow your dream, follow your intuition, follow your vision. It will lead you to great things. Have you noticed that everywhere we look, there are signs with positive messages, as if something or someone is trying to reach our consciousness? On a bumper I read one day, "Don't worry, be happy." In a magazine I read, "Your dreams are waiting for you." Boulevard of Dreams. Another read, "Make life vivid." In other words, imagine. One of my daughter's mother-in-law has a beautiful sign across the threshold of her dining room stating, "Live well, love much, laugh often." We're being bombarded with positive thoughts from the universe. Why do you think is that? The universe knows that we lack abundance of good intentions. Intentions to widen the horizons of our possibilities. We are receiving the messages, but are we being receptive? Are we listening? The greatest of battles being fought are not upon the deserts, nor fields or forests of our Mother Earth, but within our very own human mind. We have been distracted for too long. We have allowed others to enter into our holiness, which is the intention of our hearts. We are our intention. excuse me, we are our attention. And if we allow external influences to take our attention on whatever is out there, we give away part of ourselves, literally. Our lives can be so distracted, sadly to say. People don't mind at all the noise, the clutter of thoughts up in their heads, the loss of intention. To regain control, we need to guard our sacredness. Yes, our sacredness. The noise of the world is so very loud, it can get louder by the minute if we allow it. Yet, in our own contemplation, our meditative states, we can quiet the outside world from us. We achieve and cultivate our own inner independence from outside interferences, thus reacquainting ourselves with our true natures and becoming one with ourselves. And our intentions to create become more clear and decisive. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "What lies before us and what lies behind us are small matters compared to what lies within us." And when we bring what it is within out into the world, miracles happen. Our intentions are sacred, for without them, we are powerless. They are what makes us be. It is what lies beneath us. And we need to bring that into the light so that the miracle can happen. This will be once we have released the fears that bind us as human beings, when we truly will give credit to our heartfelt intention. An intention is the flowering bud of the heart. It is the seed of our inner child planted within the deep chambers of a place yet unknown to us. Our inner child left behind as we grew into adulthood. While this growth took place, we adapted ourselves to the circumstances of life, forgetting the seed of our intentions. And as we grew older, the seed slowly became enclosed, deprived of life, almost to extinction, under the weight of a personality that thickens, hardens, and becomes extinction, under the weight of a personality that thickens, hardens, and becomes inflexible and without purpose. We feed the ego and help it mature in the liberty of dreaming and acting without norms, without rules, following solely an inner impulse of the spirit that abides within. Lost, while we mature, the inner child stays behind, limited, enclosed, canalized, and held by the permanent judgments of a conscious, imposed by society, and slowly withers away. Its true nature, asphyxiated and lost, and the inner child awaits longingly for escape to a conscious mind where freedom speaks louder than mere words, to conquer unknown territories waiting to be discovered and explored. The candid smile, warmth, and sweet innocence of our inner child in us all cries out to the world for revival, to bring back the intention of life to life. It should never have left us. However, the process of maturity in reality may have taken its course, for it becomes a degenerative process where the natural values that are the true expression of the Spirit, who abides within the better part of us, slowly becomes dormant due to outer influences. It is here where we need to take action with our heartfelt intentions. For all that has become dormant can again waken through our inner powers, our determination, our divinely inspired desire to overcome the mundane. When I became aware of this, tenderness of my inner child enveloped me to the point of tears. Once again, I remembered the little girl I was, the wonderment in me, the pureness of my soul, my little legs running towards the garden, always running to the garden. Always loved flowers and everything green and beautiful that grows. The smell of the earth after it rained, talking to the birds, writing letters to God, climbing the roof for the angels to come and take them. Being in awe of this creation was part of my innocence. This was my inner child's way of communication, learning, allowing me to see the grandeur of life. My heart was grateful then, and is grateful now for each intentional experience I lived this day. We are surrounded by intentions. They are what life is made of, literally. The man that saved the woman from drowning, the young man that helped the elderly lady across the street with her bags, the community that pulled together and helped their neighbors when tragedy struck their mining town, the group of teenage girls that made quilts for the children in Romania, the nice gentleman that left a big tip for the young single waitress that was struggling financially, the owner, a nice lady of a convenience store, gave coffee, hot chocolate, and donuts in the cold Utah winters to transients. I could fill an entire book of wonderful, uplifting stories of good intentions, acts of bravery being done daily by good men, women, and children alike, all with good intentions. Intentions can be both positive and negative, so we need to see where our intentions are leading us. Will my intention hurt my neighbor? Will it bring tears to his, her eyes? Will it break someone's heart? Will my intention be honorable? Will I render service to my fellow men by the act of my intention? Will it bring happiness and serve my higher self? When we lay down to sleep, do we have a clean conscience of our intentions of the day? When we are always presented with the choice of to be or not to be. This is where we can valiantly express our love to our world. We are the only ones that can answer the quest, for it is a true journey, a path where your and mine intentions can and will elevate us into the divine realms, or they can drift us away from all goodness and shatter our dreams as well as others into darkness. All good intentions derive from our inner essence, our light and positive side, as our dark and negative side derives from our ego. We have such power over our intentions that in reality, people have no conception of the real power they truly possess. We choose in which realm to create, and when done, we can truly see the magnitude of the results. This whole universe is an intention in the making. Everywhere we look, buildings are being constructed, new candidates in politics soon to be chosen, television creating new programs, lectures in diverse places about the new era, NASA sending satellites into space and intending new projects, books being written as I write, music concerts on the move, movies are being created for the next year, people waiting in hundreds of airports all over the earth to fly to their intended intentional places. Babies are being intended as well in every continent. Doctors intending to find cures for human illnesses. Peacemakers intending for world peace. Some are intending to save the earth. Others the rainforest, animals near extinction, and a million of other intentions on the works as we speak. This is happening all over our planet. People of every race, creed, and color are making powerful intentions that will influence the world we live in, for good or bad. The power we hold in our hands is beyond words, for we have the power to create. We are one with our Creator, thus infinite is our power. Yet few know the power they hold in their hands. Can you imagine if we were to put all our intentional energies in one united intention, such as world peace? If in every country, each inhabitant would maintain in his or her thoughts the intentional thought of love towards our neighbor, our fellow man. You see, charity begins at home. And when we learn to love that what is next to us, we will be able to extend our love to others. There are way too many family feuds and neighborly feuds. Many literally hate their neighbor just because their cat or dog soiled their grass, and they fight, yell, and that is just one of the hundreds of reasons why people hate their neighbors. They all find justification for their actions while continuing in the same state of mind. How about making peace with it? Let go of the stress by not going against it. Just clean it up yourself. Bless your neighbor. He definitely needs more love. You want peace? Give it. You want love? Show it. You want a better world? Intend a better world with your actions. So live it. When we create a picture in our minds of something we want to create, for example, a beautiful garden filled with tulips, you plant the tulips. Already in your mind you see them, then you plant them. As when you want a new dress, you intend it in your mind. It has to be a certain color and certain style, but you see it in your imagination. Then you will either find it in the mall or at a store, or you will sew it yourself, but you will have it for your intention. You created it. We are not at the mercy of situations. We have the power to change all without our intentions. Changes are occurring daily. All around us there is movement. There are so many paths to follow. Which road to take, asks your soul. The answer lies within each human being. Deep inside us, the answer we all seek. We need to go where our intentions take us to. For our intentions are the language of the soul. The answer lies within us. Deep inside us, the answer we all seek. We need to go where our intentions take us to. That gut feeling about this new venture you're in, it turns out that the first year it made you incredibly successful, brought you monetary gain, plus you made some wonderful friends. That certain feeling of intention that pulls you towards a special person that later becomes your beloved. You intentionally meet people. Yes, we do. Then after a while, those people become our dear friends, our spouses, our work associates. This universe is conspiring all sorts of good intentions for us to find ourselves into. But we must remember that these intentions derive from our deep heart desires. Therefore, an extension of our inner selves. We need more trust in our own intuitive intentions. They will and can lead us to places where something or someone awaits us to enrich our lives, thus allowing us to enrich theirs. It is the synchronicity of intentional events that begin occurring in our lives, one after the other, that guide and direct us to our place in life. It does not matter where you may find yourself at, broke, in jail, divorced, depressed, homeless, even terminally ill. Remember, nothing is written in stone. All can change. Everything is energy. If you desire, if you believe, if you will, if you ask, observe, see all situations as an opportunity to find an intention waiting to happen, an opportunity to free yourselves. One can read hundreds of books, listen to many different teachers, but the true intention of your hearts, of our hearts, will lead us to a truth that matters and rings true and clear to our souls. It is here where we will begin to live a life of intention, where happiness awaits for each of us, to shower us with unmeasurable intentional joy. I am very passionate about the things that I write because I feel that in life we need to express the soul. And for me, expression of the soul is through music, through writing, through speaking, through performing, through creating, through cooking, through everything that you do. Because we are brought here to exude light. Our spirits, our other body, because we are a spirit being living in a physical world with a physical body. This is our temple, our car, if you want to call it that. Our spirit is within, and she expresses themselves, expresses themselves in various ways. And wouldn't it be a beautiful thing that we could all in the world respect each other for what we are, and instead of hurting each other, instead of humiliating each other, to lift and see the good in each of us, and see what I have to offer and what you have to offer, and combine the things and unite them, and stop being so judgmental and divide yourselves in groups of I'm left, I'm right, I'm in the middle, I'm this, I'm that, religion, I'm this, I'm that. We are all children of the same God. God has no religion. He is the Father of all creation, of all the animals that exist in this world and other worlds. And we are not alone. There are other beings that are here, both spiritually and also physically, that many don't know about. But they are here to help us in this evolution of mankind and the transition of this world, because the earth is changing. The energies are changing. There has to be movement. And if we sit and we do not move, we become stagnant like water that's rotting. And it's our responsibility as human beings, as members of the society, to want to have evolution together with our Mother Earth and see, where can I help? What can I do? What can I offer? And no one can answer that for you but you yourselves. Whatever we do in this life, just like when you plant, you'll get a harvest. There is so much more behind the spectrum. There is so much more when we dive within. When I say go dive deep into the rabbit hole, there's things that I wish that I could share, but I can't. I can't do that. And some things I can, but I see the world with other eyes. I'm an adult, but I'm not an adult. I'm a child. I see the things, I see life more like with childlike eyes. I consider myself a more like innocent person, because if I maintain myself like the world is stagnant. Many, they're not moving, and the judgment of everyone is beyond. For me, I understand, this is how I see. If someone were to commit or you feel that someone has done something to hurt you, we cannot stay there and allow for people to mistreat us. You walk away in silence, or you speak what you need to speak, whether they like it or not, they take it or leave it, and then you stand your ground, because there's only so much a person can do. You're not going to be no one's doormat. I am not. I don't care if it's my family, my friends. No, I have to have, I give the place for myself in this world. I'm an honorable person, I'm a good person, and I expect to be treated the way I treat others. And in this world, the only person that can change in the world is you, us. I'm going to continue reading just a little bit, and then the next time I will continue. And this chapter is the harvest and the butterfly. Have you ever observed a field of fresh strawberries ready to harvest? The strawberry plants red and plump with juice. It waters your mouth and you can smell the strawberries. Their inviting and exhilarating aroma intoxicate the air in a most delightful way. The harvest time is here, where the process of gathering in the crops the farmers have planted during the spring and summer months can now be reaped. Remember the last time you drove to a farmer's market and you were looking for some luscious peaches, fresh tomatoes, basil, and other herbs? Other times you were looking for fresh berries, blackberries, blueberries, and green beans. And as the summer came to an end, you looked for bright orange pumpkins to carve for Halloween. You wanted that crisp honey apple that can only be found at the end of the season, one so delicious you wait all year long to enjoy of its taste. Throughout all of the seasons, we can partake of every crop planted. We can enjoy a diversity of fruits and vegetables. We harvest, for there is always plenty of something to harvest. Throughout all of the seasons, we can partake of every crop planted. We can enjoy a diversity of fruits and vegetables. We harvest, for there is always plenty of something to harvest. Even in winter, the farmers keep apples, onions, potatoes, carrots, and many other vegetables cool in their cellars. And if you go under the snow, you will still find onions, garlic, turnips, and sweet red beets to pick. I now find myself in one of my favorite seasons, autumn, or the fall, when the end of summer nears and where Mother Nature deposits her bounty for all to take. The harvest is ready again, and nature expresses her best yet, with the impressive array of colors that surround the valleys, the mountains, and in every road lined up with trees, you can almost hear her beckoning voice. There's stir in the air, a certain energetic activity coming from every corner of the earth. People are now more open-minded. They no longer just accept things as they are. There are countless of new ideas to better our lives. In technology, we're at the cutting edge. Health-wise, in music, the arts, spiritual awareness, financial strategies, the use of solar energy in scientific endeavors. In other words, people have achieved a certain kind of awareness all over the planet. I personally feel that we humans have arrived at the moment where something or someone has to give. The potential we carry has no bounds. There are no limits to our growth. We are at the most exciting time of our lives. There is so much to harvest from every field of our lives, so we need to give ourselves to life. Surrender to our higher motives, those that call to us as we drive or as we lay our heads to sleep. We all need to go into our cocoons and go through the transformation process of metamorphosis. Let go of ego, let go, and truly be free as the wondrous coquette butterfly. I love butterflies. We'll share a story I have written about the beautiful charismatic butterfly. Once upon an early spring, it was a dark, cold, and windy night, and high above a maple tree, a little fussy caterpillar struggled to maintain himself from being blown off the tree. Tenaciously brought himself up from the lovely violet bush below. He had managed to survive the hazards of the environment and had ensured himself an adequate food supply by eating a bunch of yummy, luscious violet leaves. He walked slowly, for he was tired, yet knew it was time to find a place to pupate and begin his transformation into a butterfly, for this was to be his destiny. The risk was high, for there were many predators, such as insects as well as birds, but he continued relentlessly towards his intention, which was to find the perfect place for this new stage. Knowledgeable of the forest, even in his young life, an uncanny force drove the caterpillar towards a small crevice in the tree. He accommodated the fussy little body in the narrow opening and began to spin a silk pad to surround himself in his very own little cocoon. The caterpillar painstakingly worked for many hours, successfully enclosed his chrysalis body, said goodnight to the world, and surrender into this new warm place. Once inside, safe, its own magical metamorphosis would now begin. The sun rays, warmth and gentle breezes caressed the cocoon for many days, while the major anatomical change took place. The fussy larvae disappears after a day or two. It undergoes an astonishing change. The exoskeleton, which is the external covering of its body, becomes almost transparent, and the wing pattern and small details of the outer anatomy of the soon-to-be butterfly can almost be seen. Now, about the 8th day, the butterfly uses the intake of air to expand its body until a small suture of stitches holding together the edges near the head of the cocoon opens and allows the butterfly to emerge from his long night. The butterfly realized it had worked out. It had become female. She must now expand and dry her wings in order to take flight and find the nutrients and the energy sources such as sweet nectar needed to maintain herself and later find a mate to reproduce. When her wings were completely dried, she flew away from the tree and landed on top of a leaf in the violet bush below. She saw herself for the first time in the reflection of a puddle of dew and the leaf, and was awed by her own beauty. An unusual pattern covered her wings. She was bright yellow and had blue lines that outlined her wings. She had a few large and many small eye spot pattern elements on wing edges that were bright green, and a remarkable light tails at the end of the angle of the hind wings. She was indeed a most beautiful specimen. Her very own inspiring metamorphosis was a wonder in itself. Her existing aesthetics astonishingly beautiful. She breathed life into her once more and flew freely up high into the sky to observe where she was at. When she reached a desired place, she stopped and landed on one of the highest trees around. She was stunned at what she saw. The vastness of her world was extraordinary in her eyes. She was awed by the beauty around her. The myriad of possibilities for sustainment were abundantly endless. She found herself in a field of lavender, and for miles around she saw valleys filled with flowers, gardens of roses, and every imaginable flower known. The skies were so blue, so clear, and the sun rays brightened everything around. The wind blew enough to aid her flight. The exquisite aroma of the lavender fields, its purple beauty, and the majestic view brought tears of joy. Gratefulness to the butterfly, she felt her very own unique essence and became one with her world. She flew into her new life, spreading her wings as far as they could possibly go, again surrendering, but this time into this moment, free, forever free. Now, in this story, I had pointed out a couple of very important things that are paramount to our spiritual growth. As everything in this universe is systematic and follows a perfect recurring synchronicity of events, such as the seasons, the stages of birth, therefore life, then death, and so it goes over and over again. Well, in all things there is surrender of sorts. There is a surrender of sorts, especially in nature. It is amazing how we are taught by nature to learn to go with the flow of things. As water runs in the rivers, always downstream, we never, nor will we ever see water go against itself. Trees yield of their fruit at the right time. Their contracts embedded or written in their organism, which remember time and time again when to deliver their plentiful harvest. The butterfly in the story was created from a deep transformation. She surrendered to her own essence within. thus became, and beautiful is she. This is our lesson. We humans resist far too much, for when things crumble around us, we do not flow like the rivers. We do not dance like the unassuming children in a park. We don't like change, therefore we resist with all our might. And the more we resist, the more painful the experience. For we struggle against the nature of things, whereas nature surrenders. She embraces, she submits and yields herself to the higher order of things. For example, a seed is planted under her soil and the transformation occurs within. Nature yields her harvest, for we did not tamper with the seed. We released it as a token of faith. In other words, we surrendered to her and allowed her to do her work. This is where wisdom lies, in the balance of things and all things. The other important factors of the story are the laws of cause and effect. For every effort given must surely a result be. Thus we harvest. The little caterpillar made a great attempt to get to where he was supposed to be, to later become the butterfly he knew was waiting to be born. When he came to that point, he surrendered. He knew his part had been done, and then he allowed for nature to take over. A sure thing to come about of efforts done by Mother Nature, as well as our own humanly efforts conducted each and every day of our lives. We give, we receive. Not only nature can manifest her wonders to behold, we are co-creators with God, and there are no limits to what we can create. There's a story in the Bible about Jesus being on a boat with his disciples. There was a storm, and he commanded the elements, and the storm subsided. In other words, he used the power of his intention to stop the elements. Now, many may comment that this was Jesus. Let me remind us that we're all created equal. God created all of his children and endowed them with the same image himself. This shows to me that we need not fear nature. And when wildfires begin, instead of saying the destruction is imminent and the 50-mile-an-hour winds are so severe that the fire is soon spreading to other sectors, and this is caused by the worst drought we have ever had in years, so we need to evacuate the city. Okay, I agree with one thing here. The first thing we see is the fire. Engraved in our minds is the fire. Then the fear comes in. Since all is energy and we live in a collective energetic mind, most fear the fire. All speak their fears and they see it with their own eyes. So what do we get? A bigger, more destructive fire. Now we seem to be at the mercy of the elements. I greatly disagree. For Jesus taught that we can do great things, miracles, as he did. How about the mother who lifted the car when her child's life was in danger under the car? And when I lived in Denmark, I knew of a little girl that when her little hand got caught in a door, she lost part of her little finger. It had been completely severed as the door closed. This was of no concern to her little brothers and sisters. They just assumed that another finger would grow in its place, so they simply asked God to grow her a new one. It did. And to everyone, including the astonished doctors, this was something they could not explain. A personal occurrence I encountered unexpectedly driving on a freeway one early Sunday morning in winter was southbound towards Salt Lake City, and fog began to cover the road and all around me. I noticed that the car slowed down to about 10 miles and less an hour. I immediately blessed the entire situation. Then I asked the sun to appear, for I needed to see the road. I opened up the window and I threw him kisses, and I waited. It did not go over 5 minutes, and all of a sudden a sun ray appeared right in front of my car, opening a path of light only on my side of the road, and noticed the other cars moving into my lane. I gleamed with delight and felt like a little girl just that got an ice cream cone. I thanked the sun for his quick, loving gesture and continued my travel. Every day has a moment here where we can use our loving, sublime authority. The question is, can you believe in your God-given ability? Put it to the test. See and feel with your own hearts. Ask, and it shall be given unto you. Become like a little child. See the fire, the earthquake, the flood, the hurricane, the tornado, the war, turmoil, chaos of all kinds as opportunities to use our God-given power to bring balance, dissolve all manner of chaotic situations, and to appease the elements by using our energy of love, by evoking this energy and uniting as a conscious, collective, creative mind. We will grow together as one and harvest the richness of the land, of all lands, in our true essences as one in abundance. Sounds too good to be true? Well, I say, what have we got to lose? If a bunch of good intending humans believe in the power of their minds and believe that love is a healing force in all situations, they unite here and there and believe with all of their heart, mind, and soul that the winds will shift because they intend this to happen. The elements will obey. The winds will shift. The fire will die. For in all things, the majority has the voice, and the power behind is love. Remember, love is a word of what? Action. We cannot go wrong. Try it. Use our God-given power of creation for the good of the earth. Bless her, love her, help heal her. Let go of hate and resentments, people. Let go and free yourselves in our Pachamama. Forgive all trespasses done unto you, and fill your heart and your mind with love, for the only thing we humans need is love. This love will give us a harvest known only in fantasy books, such as fairy tales. But once we relinquish our egos, we will allow this power to enter into our lives. The fruit will be sweet, for it is most sweet. Love carries the power of the Creator. Think good thoughts and we will harvest only the good. Why is it easier to plant a seed, knowing full well in our minds that we will get to harvest that which we have planted, as opposed to planting a good loving thought to better our elemental conditions? Both carry the same analogy. Both are seeds of a thought. Both can be harvested. For thoughts and seeds which later become. So if you have a city with several million inhabitants, all thinking in fear of what is to come because of an earthquake, a fire, a flood, a tornado, then energy felt, my friends, becomes greater, with a potency greater than an atomic bomb. Now change that to a positive energy created by the powerful intention of a loving thought filled with trust by millions of people. I know that the matters in question will no longer exist, for we will take a stand for whom we truly are by the use of our inner powers to bring balance in all things. Thus we will harvest the best there is in life. But here's the question to us all. Do we believe that you and I are powerful beings and that you and I can command the elements as Jesus Christ did? We have been taught from babies to fear, ingrained in our minds, so our foundations are created with a crumbling basis. This is why germs exist, therefore sickness, for everything created in fear has failure written all over it. Do you want to harvest a new and better world for you and your children and your children's children? It is time to shift to more sunny dispositions, to plant seeds of loving thoughts, to wish for everyone walking on this planet a new and happy life, to only see good and expect only good out of everything we can imagine. I desire to harvest a world without sickness, therefore no more hospitals, no more suffering. So from now on I only see healthy people and bless the perfect condition, the perfect health we all enjoy. I desire a world without jails, criminals, drugs, addiction, depression, violence, wars. So from now on I only see a world with beautiful creative minds, all working for a common cause, peace, love, and happiness. And I bless the beautiful minds and the beautiful thoughts of this new earth. I also desire a world without fears, people no longer afraid to drive without a car insurance, for there will no longer exist fear, nor pay millions of dollars to life insurances, for there will be no fear of death, for when the person decides to let go of this life, they will peacefully leave. So from now on, I see a world of trust in their higher selves, God within, our true nature. Often I have wondered why the people of the Bible lived for several hundred years. The prophets of ancient times lived for 800 to 900 years. We live in a most sophisticated society, And the majority of people here only live up to the late 80s, although now they have created more medicines to keep them alive a little longer. But what are we doing wrong? I come to the understanding that mankind lives under a lower law. Again, I quote the Bible where God expresses this sentiment: my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor my ways my ways. This to me is living above the laws of men, to live a higher law, where the authenticity, the genuine essence of the human race will be transcendent, and there will be no place for negativity or insidiousness. Throughout the years, I have acquired a greater insight and understanding of what life should be here on earth. By observing the quality of life of the diverse countries, there is a need to awaken the seeds of creation. We need to unite in our song of love and voice our united, loving, positive thoughts in the collective mind. We need to nourish the seed, teach by example. We need to love more, expect more of ourselves and of our planet. We have depleted our mother, who cradles and carries us of her energy with her energies. We have piles and piles of waste material that cannot be dissolved. Her forests are being burned and destroyed. Her oceans marked with oil spills that harm the living organisms living there. People hate, their hates and their judgments, stereotyping of others, the non-tolerance, the non-compassion, the uncontrollable shopping of the Western world that later turns to waste. All of this creates a dense energy of and negative forces permeating throughout the Earth's sphere, affecting life on our planet. We humans are responsible for our earthly condition today and need to take a look at the seeds planted by our thoughts, the way that we speak and the contracts that we make. Can we ask others to think for us? I desire a world without homelessness and without poverty. From now on, I only see abundance, and I bless the abundance of spirit, the goodness in all. Likewise, material wealth to all. And now a most paramount, if not the most important, word next to love: gratitude. Are we grateful? Having gratefulness for all that is good in humanity, thankfulness for there is so much to be thankful for. Volumes can be written, and I feel that we humans take too many things for granted. We tend to assume that the sun will shine forever, that the water will run out of our faucets forever. Yet it may very well happen, but how many of us thank the water that we drink, or when we shower, when we water our gardens or plants? What about the oxygen we breathe? Does anyone remember to thank the trees for the wonder of their creation? We breathe because they cleanse our air by detoxifying the air we expel, and the entire earth is covered with trees, some places more than others. Even the oceans create algae to help purify our air. Are we thankful? Are we aware of the harvest that we're receiving in our lives? Is it mediocre? Is our harvest beneath us of who we really are? What is our message to the world? Do we want a better world? Or better yet, do we believe we can help create a better world? And are we deserving of a better world? A better legacy to leave to our children? What do we want to harvest? Is your harvest beautiful? If you take one stick, you can break it. You gather 100 sticks, you cannot break them so easily. Our collective minds together can accomplish much more than you and I could ever imagine. And yes, it sounds like utopia or nirvana, but I say, why not? Why not? If a man goes to space and the possibility of time travel is imminent, and soon here, as Mr. Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. I will use my imagination, for I know if it is a thought, it is a seed I can plant and watch grow with my powerful intentions, my divine assets. It may sound to some that I could be in denial, and I will agree, for I no longer accept the conditions I have been living under, and refuse to accept the conditions the beautiful planet Earth I live in is living under, and so many human beings, my spiritual brethren throughout the planet, living upon this earth under deplorable conditions. In the world of insects, the beautiful butterfly has symbolized throughout the ages the transfiguration of the human soul, and as such, we humans have placed its delicate beauty in a place of high regard, for the butterfly is a reminder to us all of the true magnificence that lies within the human spirit. Nature touches our very souls. She teaches with a commanding force and a diligence unprecedented by man. for nature follows her course. She does not go against her nature. On the other hand, we humans have an ego to deal with, and nature is in itself in her own pure essence of being, just creating and creating galore. What will it take for us to become our highest intention? When will we harvest our works, our efforts? Everything in this great universe of ours is working. Even the tiniest of creatures, all is moving. Inside our bodies there is constant motion in a world of its own in each cell that abides within. Outside our bodies as well. You move your hand and take the book you were reading and place it on the night table. Thus, movement. We are a continual thought of actions. Even if we're doing nothing, for in doing nothing, we're doing something. Okay, I think I better stop right now, and I will continue another day. But I just wanted to share that with you and find the intentions of your hearts, that which will create and bring about beautiful things for your life. Intend the things that you intend, make them, love them, carry them in your heart, bless them. All intentions are sacred. We are sacred beings. We are living in a sacred life. Give importance to your the time that you spend here upon the earth is sacred. Give it meaning. Give it the best intention from your heart so that you can live the best life, so that when you leave this earth, you leave a legacy of beautiful seeds that you planted of love and light and joy and gratitude, and your children and great-grandchildren can learn from, and others can learn from. Have a beautiful weekend, people, and I wish you the best, and I love you all and my beautiful soul family, and I love you. Bye.